if you're not Christian, you don't need to be scared of these Christians that God's making rich and powerful. They'll be nice to you. They will shut down an LGBTQ agenda because, that destroys cities. If people get LGBTQ, everyone shows up there, and pretty soon the city's burning down and people are starving and dying. They don't want people to starve and die and burn, so they'll shut down the thing that leads to that. But they won't chase you. You can leave and move someplace else, and they'll leave you alone. But they won't have that. Other than that, if you're a Democrat and you want to come to the school where I'm a school board member, because I'm a candidate for that now, you're welcome. I think it's great to have Democrats and Republicans, talk about stuff, especially their kids. Kids are thinking stuff through. All of us need to arrive at what we believe honestly and not just do what our parents tell us. We need to think critically. Young people need to arrive at their own opinions. We can't do that if everyone at the school is a Republican. But we also can't do that if everyone at the school is a Democrat who has an emotional meltdown after President Trump gets reelected. Not that happened at Chip Hills. But we need to be open and fair and not try to bully the students into agreeing with us or following this way or that, which means LGBTQ's got to go. We can't have that in the schools because that's trying to bully people. Like I say, don't be afraid of these Christians that are. Hello, darling. What you're looking at here is basically a tropical coyote. I lived in Taiwan 15 years, and when Lucky here adopted me, say hey Lucky, hey. When Lucky adopted me, the brown dog, I wanted a mate for him, and hey Lucky, come here, buddy. Say hi on the camera. There, that's Lucky. I looked for a mate for him, and I found by chance this legendary black dog, which is basically Taiwan's equivalent of a coyote, except the locals know that they can adopt them. In America, we're just starting to learn that we can adopt our coyotes. So this is an amazing, super smart dog, and I'm raising and selling them. Love you. It's called a Formosan. So right now, they smell the beef that I just got from the farm, and they're all freaked out about that. But if you're a Democrat and one of these rich, powerful Christians, if all the rich and powerful Christians take over in your township board or in your city or your school board, you don't need to be afraid of that. They're not going to attack you, and they're not going to indoctrinate the kids. We are in our own spiritual space. We're in that spirit flow, like I talked about in the other video, with Brian from Money on the Move, who does this prayer thing. That's kind of our ongoing silent state. It's just Brian says it out loud and on camera. So we're lost in there, in a worship experience, emotionally, spiritually, standing with the Almighty Creator of the universe through Jesus and His second work of the Holy Spirit immersion. Not just the Holy Spirit inside of us, but the Holy Spirit just drenching us, which comes by waiting or laying on of hands and waiting. So we're lost in that experience, and we're not interested in bullying other people. We just want to be fair. I mean, really, it's like bodybuilding. I'm kind of a hobby bodybuilder, and I've got an Instagram account, which some people have whined about for that reason. You're a pedophile. Bodybuilders are not pedophiles, thank you. I think that we should know that. We need school principals who know that bodybuilders aren't pedophiles. Goodness. So I tell guys in the gym in Taiwan, we get a lot of beginners. I'd say, they don't know how to exercise. It's just they're hurting themselves slowly. And I walk up to them, I'd say, hey, do you mind if I talk to you? And oftentimes they would. I'd say, go look at all these other guys in the gym that are really big Say, yeah. Every one of them started. Every one of them had a beginning. They were super fat once or super skinny once, and they decided to take control of their choices, and that's why they're obviously a bodybuilder now. They all started, and you're starting, and they'd be happy to talk with you. It's every one of them. They're nice people. Don't be afraid to just ask them a couple pointers. Ask them for pointers. Say, okay, really? I'd say, yeah. And there are some exceptions, but not really many. That's what Christians are. We all had a beginning. Every single person, we're living our lives, and life brought us to a conclusion about Jesus and history. And it's what Jesus said, no one can believe in me unless God the Father calls him from the other verse. You know, this world that we're in is like in the memory, the RAM of God's computer, and he owns a computer, and he owns a desk, and he owns the house, and he wrote the software in it, and he's letting it play, and he's in total control. And we're here to figure things out. And it all of us have a story. So these real true Christians, not church minions trying to get more numbers, but the true, real Christians who follow Jesus directly, maybe don't have a pastor they love. They aren't out to prove anything. They're in the flow with Jesus. And that's where they live. They didn't get there with mushrooms or marijuana either. And they know that it's a path, it's a journey. And just, we all got to walk it. So if one of these Christians or a group of them starts, taking over, if they end up in charge of a school board or city council or township board, you don't need to be afraid of them. They know life's a journey. They won't interfere with your journey. They'll let you live. But they won't let you dominate everybody with LGBTQ, and they won't let you indoctrinate them with churchianity. They're going to want an even fair discussion. So if someone's one of these Christians and they say, no, we're not going to pray over the speaker in school, that doesn't mean that they're against God. They want a fair journey for everyone because they themselves were on a journey when they found Jesus, and they're still on a journey. It's a lot like Pilgrim's Progress. John Bunyan was in the flow when he wrote that. So, just that's a little perspective. You don't have to be afraid of these Christians that God's raising up. You don't need to fear them. Now, witches will be scared to death of these Christians because people in Africa deal with witches who convert much more than America, but that's going to be on the rise also. But in Africa, the Christians and the churches and the pastors just are generally more aware. And these witches will do this thing. You look at this up and see if I'm blowing smoke. But they do this astral projection, and they walk out of their body and they go curse people and they tempt people to do sinful things. And when they run into praying Christians or their families, there's like this blue dome around them that they can't get through. And so when they're doing their astral projection, walking around trying to mess with people and tempt people, like, this is a thing. Stop pushing buttons on my car, thank you. They see Christians and they get scared because as witches they know that the Christians have a much bigger power over them. And honestly, I look at the people that just, like, they attack me as if they know me. I wonder if they're secretly a witch, and one of these people doing astral projection saw this from me and went and told them, and that's why they're out to get me. I run it, there's not a lot of people out to get me, but I run into them. And like I was talking about with school, the reasons for dismissing me happened way too fast. There was a student that seemed clearly to be plotting something with the principal. I'm not going to say their name because, I think that's a good student and they're just being taken advantage of. It's a really good student, I think. But the principal was playing a dirty one. It doesn't make any sense. I had been a substitute teacher, and I stumbled across a student that was doing what they weren't supposed to be doing, and I know the parents happen to be Christians, and I said, no, I have to give you the proper punishment, because if I don't, your parents will find out and they'll hate me. And so the parents had no idea that their Christian child was doing what they weren't supposed to, because school was leading them astray without the parents knowing. And so they called master school and found out that it really was true, and they were thankful. And the principal called me and said, a parent complained about you, and you warned some kids to be careful of P. Diddy. You're a bad substitute teacher. I'm like, hold on. I stopped a student from doing what they shouldn't be doing and warned people about P. Diddy, and therefore I'm a bad teacher. No, we need good, fair, smart school board members. And for some reason, some people are terribly scared of me without it making any sense at all. And they might have a reason, but it doesn't add up. And those people seem to be running schools. And we need to get sensible, fair people running things. And these Christians and this Christian will be absolutely fair to you. Send your kid to school with all the Democrat ideas if you're a Democrat. We'll make sure they're treated fairly. Won't do LGBTQ pronouns, but you can do that at home. And I do like to say they, because we've already been doing that anyway.